Hey man, I hereby conclude. We in here. Check it out. I made a post saying that Christians should never be fat. Well, I didn't say they should be fat. That's the important distinction for this video. I said they should never be obese because it's indicative of a lack of discipline, a gluttonous spirit, lack of self-control, and of course in Scripture, Tanakh, New Testament, all these things are bad, right? None of these things will lead you to a fruitful life. And the way you approach training is typically the way you approach life. Fix one in one area, you can apply it to the other areas, right? Obesity, medically, 25% for a male, 25% body fat, 33% body fat for a female. So if you're there or low, after that, hey, whatever you want to look like. But a friend of mine said this is an issue with the fitness industry. Now, of course, I guess he made a joke about me fat shaming, or maybe he felt like it could have been fat shaming, which really is not. But let's address that before we get into his comment. That fat shaming is definitely not cool, because here's why. We're about people's mental, spiritual, and physical well-being. They all are important. How the heck am I going to tell you about health, being healthy, telling you to lose weight, to be healthy, and be fat shaming him, ruining your mental and spiritual health? Now, and be careful, because if you're trying to help somebody out or let them know that, hey man, I think you're gaining a little bit too much weight and whatnot, you have to do it in a way that you're not shaming them. Definitely don't call them out in front of a bunch of people. Like you see them grabbing an extra plate at dinner or something, and hey, when everyone's in the room, don't be like, hey man, you too fat to be eating all that. I mean, you might say it like that, but don't, because trust me, they might not show, but that's embarrassing, right? They know they're fat. They know most people know they're obese. Most people, because everyone around us now is obese, don't recognize obesity until people become morbidly obese. But that's a different video for a different time, and that's actually part of a huge issue with society. But the reason why obesity is important, before I jump into this, is because most of the disease is killing people, and I'm tired of seeing people die. Young people dying and older people dying from issues related to obesity, hypertension, various forms of cancer, even Alzheimer's, stuff like that, man. We're talking about the main things that are out here killing people: heart failure, heart attack, stroke, all these things. Risk goes up with obesity, and heart attack, stroke go up too with hypertension, which goes up with obesity, which diabetes goes up with it. Diabetes also increases your risk for hypertension. Yeah, but the top things killing people are all attributed to obesity. Obesity does kill, and the problem is people don't even recognize their obesity anymore until they start approaching morbid obesity, because the population's getting obese. So this whole fat acceptance and all that, I'm not with it. I'm not about it, because that's the issue going on in the fat acceptance movement. Is the reverse of what's happening in the fitness industry. And this is a video, my friend Jason was the one who said this is an issue in the fitness industry, and I completely agree with him. The fat acceptance movement, you have people who pretty much, they're not even like obese, they're like morbidly obese. If you're just obese, they tell you you're not fat enough, right? So this is real messed up. But pretty much, they're morbidly obese, and they want you to affirm their obesity because they pretty much have given up on losing the weight. Their families are obese because they have bad habits, pretty much. Not their genetics, it's because they have bad eating habits that they passed on to them. Everyone in their family is obese. They've been obese pretty much their whole lives. They have bad habits. They don't recognize their bad habits because they've always been obese. They don't have the know-how and the skill set to fix their situation like a lot of people, so they just give up. But they feel guilty because they know that there's more to it, so they just attack you. They tell you to do things like don't listen to doctors saying that you're obese, saying that this is going to kill you. There's health at every size. That's a myth. There's not health at every size. In either direction, there's not health at any size. So if you're obese, 80% of people who are currently metabolically healthy will not stay metabolically healthy. Just being obese does shorten your lifespan, even if you have no issues, which more than likely you will. So it's a very serious issue, but these people are giving up. They don't have the know-how. People on the other side that are not morbidly obese, but they're in the fitness industry, Same issues. Same issues. And here's why. Because a lot of people only see those images with people in magazines, on Instagram now, and they're thinking they're shredded, lean all year round, which they are not. They take those pictures, they recycle them all year round. Sometimes, and especially in the magazines, what they would do is they'll take a bunch of pictures at various times and just put them out whenever they need them. Most of the time, people are dieting down for photo shoots, or they're going into physique-based competitions, and they just take the pictures along the way. So they're looking the best they're going to look all year. Hugh Jackman in the Wolverine movies and in X-Men, he's not that shredded year round. Not only does he get super shredded for the role, he pumps up and then he shoots his scenes. When you see him any other time, he's still in that healthy body fat percent range. It's not like he's getting obese, but he's a healthy body weight. He still works out and stuff. It's not like he stops. Like, he's one of the few actors that actually lives the lifestyle. But he's not that shredded. He doesn't even have abs. But you know what? You don't need to have abs to be healthy. That's the whole problem. People associate health with having abs. Most of the people, especially known bodybuilders and stuff, and most of the people that I know, that have abs, they're not healthy. That's not the marker of health. And that's the problem. Because when you talk about being healthy, people think that you're talking about being lean and having abs. That's why a lot of people, when you say, hey, obesity is bad for your health, you need to get healthy, that's why they get so mad sometimes, because they think you're saying, oh, you need to look like these Instagram models. That's not true at all. And that's why I always make sure I'm sticking with the medical definition of obesity: 25% body fat for a male, 33% body fat for a female. You're not going to have abs at 25% body fat if you're a male, 33% body fat as a female. You're not going to have abs. You'll be healthy, but you're going to look pretty standard. It's not about what you look like, it's about your health. But the fitness industry messes people up, not just because of these images, but because people already have issues when they get into working out usually. Like, a lot of people who are anorexic might start working out because they realize, okay, I'm anorexic and I'm killing myself. So they start working out, learning about nutrition. At least they're trying to. A lot of times they put the weight on, but they're working out and they're gradually adding the weight on because they're like anorexic, so they're used to starving themselves already. So they're not overdoing it usually, but they get to a point they're doing enough to add weight just to get muscular, but they're still relatively lean. So they start seeing the results and they realize, yeah, that anorexia wasn't it, right? But as they get more developed, they get more rooted in the industry. Sometimes some of them even start to compete. Then you run into an issue. Oh crap, I'm lean. They might be hard, nice, have abs and everything, but they not shredded because it's the fitness industry, right? The fitness industry. If your abs are cloudy, blurry a little bit, if you got to flex to see them, they're not separating your fat. That's just how it is. That's how the perception is. And even if no one tells you that, you feel it, because there's going to be points where you're super lean and then you gain a few pounds and that's gone. Especially if you gain it rapidly, you're seeing yourself at your best. You're never going to be satisfied with anything less than your best. You have to mentally be strong and prepared for that, or literally not care. But the problem is you have anorexia, right? So yeah, that's going to bother you. So now you already have a negative association with food. You have to restrict your calories, which you already have an issue with, to get leaner. So now you run into this issue of trying to restrict your weight, keep your muscle and all this stuff. It makes the issue so much worse because you never can get over that. And then you end up falling into the trap, especially if you're getting in a competition and now you're trying to take things like clenbuterol, T4, T3. You might even start messing around with Anavar. A lot of guys even start messing around with the Trenbolone, trying to stay lean because you're already not mentally healthy, and now you're in the fitness industry, which already, if you're healthy, the fitness industry threatens to already give you some complexes. You come in with a complex, you're done. That's why I tell people, if you're not mentally healthy, if you're struggling with something, even if you're struggling with overeating, right? Especially for guys, women, it's give and take. Stay out of it, because it's going to make it worse. Even if you're an obese woman, you get in shape. don't get into competition. You can work out, be fit, keep an eye on certain people, but don't get into it, because even in competition, a lot of women who were previously obese, who got in great shape, obviously they're doing competition, some of them are even winning, they fall back into that old binging behavior because they restrict their calories so much, it triggers that old mechanism, and they come out of the show and are binging, or they're trying to diet down, they fall into that binging, those binging episodes where they uncontrollable eating. Now you have that issue, you're not going to eat for a few days and be like, okay, I'm good. You're going to be going hard because something's not right with you, but you had it in check, but you just took the lock off the cage and let the beast out, pretty much. So it really will mess you up. Some people just develop an issue because it's like a sleeping demon in them. They're like, oh, I'm gonna go ahead and diet down and whatnot. But there's a culture. But see, the fitness industry. There's the fitness industry, and then there's bodybuilding. And everything comes from bodybuilding. Don't get it twisted. The problem nowadays is that people say, oh, I'm gonna eat X, Y, and Z when I get out. This is what the fitness industry has become. As soon as the competition's over, I'm going to binge eat, pretty much. Nobody says, okay, I'm just going to go back to a regular diet, or I'm going to gradually up my calories back, which is a reverse diet. No, these people say, I'm going to binge, I'm going to do this. What happens? Well, you've been restricting your calories this whole time. Your body is not even set up to use that. So you get edema, so you get severe water retention, and you could throw your electrolytes off and actually kill yourself if it gets bad enough, right? So you're doing that, you're slamming it. People gain sometimes 30, 40, 50 pounds after a show. That's not healthy neither. Like, that's not healthy. And we're talking about just a show. And then we're talking about the other side with people who thought they were too small. Like a lot of guys, they started working out to get bigger, eating, before you get to the fitness industry, you just accept, like, okay, this is as big as I'm probably going to get. You really don't know there's too many bigger people or the mechanism of how it works. Then you fall for the next slide. Drugs will make me Ronnie Coleman, pretty much. So now you already struggling with not being big enough, and you start doing drugs. And by drugs, I mean performance enhancing drugs. So that's not just steroids, that's steroids, peptides, different types of growth factors and stuff like that. So we're talking about IGF-1, growth hormone, insulin, testosterone, trenbolone, anavar, masteron, nandrolone, all of these different types of things. And of course you got to eat to grow. And you're thinking this is going to make you bigger. You'll get bigger, but you find out eventually not everybody's going to be Ronnie Coleman, right? Not everybody's going to be a Kevin Levrone. Not everybody's going to be a Phil Heath. Not everybody's going to be those big mass monsters you see in professional bodybuilding. Not everyone can even be that. Genetically, you're not wired. So these guys are not even taking what a lot of people in your gym are taking that look like they don't even lift. A lot of these guys just look like me. And they taking way more because they're not genetically wired to be that big. That's the problem. But you're in an industry, and that's what you see, that's what you want to do. And the industry is so messed up, it's telling you no. If they could get that big, you could get that big. They're lying. They're taking more than they're saying. It messes with your brain because now you open Pandora's box. You're in the industry, you want to compete, you want to do all this and that, you want to keep up pretty much with the Joneses, but the Joneses got the budget for it and you don't. You work at McDonald's, the Joneses have Fortune 500 company. That's really what it is. So you killing yourself. So now you out there, high blood pressure and all that stuff, ruining your kidneys, ruining your heart. At this point, what's the difference between that and being obese? There's no difference. You might even kill yourself faster because you're putting all this stuff into your body and you're eating. So you're doing the eating, putting the stuff into your body and all that. And don't get it twisted. Once you reach a certain amount of muscle mass, it's no better than being obese. If you're if you're like 300 pounds, you're 300 pounds. Your heart has to pump blood all through that. Actually, there's more muscles, way more metabolically active, more blood vessels and stuff running through it. Come on. At that point, it's no better. So you got to really realize that the fitness industry, and we're not even talking about, bodybuilding has some of these issues, but the fitness industry, by and large, has more issues because bodybuilding only attracts a certain amount of people. Most people are going to end up dropping out anyway because they don't have the genetics. The fitness industry, there's a space for everybody in the fitness industry. So no matter what ailment you have, you could come and develop it, make it worse, or get a new one. So any industry that makes you think too much about what you look like is going to ruin you, pretty much, mentally. That's why people get so messed up. That's why a lot of these people who are obese or in the fat acceptance movement, they have a twist. They struggle with it because when you say get healthy, they're thinking about what they look like. They're thinking you may have abs, get shredded. You say, no, I want you to be healthy. I want you to be around. I don't want you to die. I don't want you going up out of here like Big Pun or somebody because your weight's too heavy and you die because of these complications because of the things that happen from you being. They don't hear all that. They don't hear, and they're so connected to their obesity. And that happens too in the fitness industry. Whereas somebody gets so connected with being used to seeing themselves obese, like when somebody lose weight, they say, oh, you don't even look like yourself. Stop saying that dumb stuff. They're trying to lose weight, they're trying to get healthy. You're associating their obesity with them, which is wrong. In the fitness industry, people associate their nice physiques and their bodies with them, and that ruins them, right? So it's the same thing. So that's why these guys who retire, they don't stay big, they purposely downsize. The people who can't, die. Rich Piana was on his way out here just because he felt from social media and being in the fitness industry that he ended up passing away anyways. But even if he didn't, he probably would be dead by now or on his way out because he wanted to downsize, but he said, people expect me to be big. My fans, if they're going to be disappointed if I'm not big. That's a trap. This video is long. I'm going to cut it, but come on, guys. The fitness industry can be just as messed up. So when I say get healthy, I'm not even meaning get in the fitness industry. If you don't have anything that you want to do in the fitness industry, bypass it. Or get yourself healthy first before you try to jump in it. Just because you're working out and getting in shape doesn't mean you got to be in the fitness industry. All right, that's it. How you want to act?